Hi, it's Therese and Lost in Paper, and I'm here with Altenew today, and I have a focus post at the blog sharing 3 cards using this fabulous set called Summer Swirls. I thought I'd make a video of this card though as I created so that I can share a technique with you, and it's a very simple one, and it's a partial die cutting technique. So before we get to the die cutting, I do want to stamp out my image and do my Copic colouring. I have used the Altenew permanent black ink, which is alcohol marker friendly, and I am doing some simple colouring today. I'll have the lids off to the side so that you can see which colours I'm using. It's really, what I've decided to do is actually keep it really simple and keep my colours to a minimum rather than make it look almost too lifelike, because it's an ice cream van. I thought it would be nice to do in these blue-green colours. But there is a lot of discrepancy in the blue-greens in the Copic family, so rather than bring the darker colours in and bolden it up, I thought I'd do a lot of my shading with the grey markers, and you'll see that a little bit later on. So I'm going to leave you with the colouring now, and I'll be back with the technique very soon. So, alright, this die does come in 2 pieces, and the stamp does as well, so you can actually stamp and die cut them separately, but I didn't want to. I don't know why. So I actually stamped them together, and the way to die cut them together is to lay the die cut in place, and I'm putting some marks on here. I probably didn't need to bother, and I only want to die cut the portion up to the top of the van. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my normal sandwich for a thin steel die cut, one of the thin dies. So, and I'm using my big shot, and I'm using the base plate, but the top plate I'm holding, the edge of it is where I want it die cut to, if that makes sense. So I'm going to show it again because I still have to cut out the other portion of the image. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Now I've got the ice cream die. I'm going to hold it in place with the tape just to ensure that it doesn't shift while I'm die cutting, and then keeping my normal sandwich with the big shot, the bottom plate, and then the top plate, if you can see the edge of that, is just being held where I want the die cut to come to. And of course there is going to be a gap here because it's not meant to be cut as one, so it won't fully cut through. Depending on what you are die cutting though, some things you will be able to manage that when you do a two-piece sort of partial die cutting technique. But for me, I was never going to be able to die cut that the upper right part of the car with the dies as they were. So how I get around that is I just cut it away, and that just gives me a small area to work with, and I just use my scissors and do like a fussy cutting technique. So I'm going to work on my card front now that that's all, my image is all prepared, and I have some of the new ink colours here, and I really like them because they're so bright. And if you know me, you know I like my bright colours, and these 3 sets that have just been introduced, they tick every box for me. And the pinks are real pink too. You know, some of the pinks are a purpley pink. This one is actually a really nice, almost like a baby pink. These are all the light colours I'm using here, and I'll list those over at my blog as well. The sentiment I've taken from the birthday greetings set, and I'm just stamping that with some black ink directly onto the card front. And then all that's left to do is to pop up my image, and I've just used some pink fun foam because that was what was sitting there, and held it in place with some score tape, and that's it for my card. Oh, almost. Now I did decide to come in and add some shimmer with my crystal clear pen from Spectrum Noir. And now that's it for my card today. I'll have another 2 cards that I've made over at the blog, and I'll put the link in the description below, so head over and see what else I've made using this set. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.